nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.
Thank you, Sydney, for your time. You look gorgeous and shining, and I'm happy to talk to you about this.
Thank you. You too, JEANDRA. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. In horror movies, a rampant killer is frightening enough. But in this case, you have a killer who knows things about you, which is a different level of menacing and fear. When you first read through the story, what was your immediate reaction to Makani and what she was going to experience in the span of this time?
I really loved reading this script because it was so thrilling and it really sucks you in. I love the dialogue. I love how cinematic it is, but it has like this fantastical element, and then yet it's so grounded, you know, it's so like truthful, which I think makes it even more haunting. I honestly thought maybe Makani could be the killer. I thought, well, what is her secret? You know, does she have a split personality? Like, does she black out? Like, the instability was very evident. So I was like, what is going on? And it's just it was such a fun read. And I'm just so happy and proud of the film.
It was really smart and intelligent because we all know the formula. You run, you go, somebody chase you, stab you, and that's it. But no one really tells you about yourself while they're trying to kill you, which was, it was like brought a lot of dread to my heart. When you think of secrets and having secrets as a child and now having secrets as an older person, what is it easier to keep secrets now, or was it easier to keep secrets then? Or are you a secretive person even at all, like Makani?
I'm really not a secretive person at all. Like, I am honestly an open book, sometimes to a fault, where like I'll trust too easily, and I'm like, "Ooh, did I say too much? Like, what did I say?" But I will keep someone's secret for them. That is one thing about me. But I was never good at lying as a kid. I'm still not good at lying now. So it was definitely a departure from myself to play Makani, because she is very internal and passive, and she keeps a lot of things inside, which is part of like her weight and her shame. And of course, when it comes out later, we understand why. But yeah, it was really interesting to play a character like her.
Even with that level of intelligence, it does tick the horror boxes. We got the good, the kills, the falls, the screams. The horror movie fall is always a subject of discussion with people. What is the key to the fall, to falling in front of your killer? And how many times did you have to do? Not saying that you were killed in the film, they're going to have to wait and see, but you have a confrontation. So what is the key to the fall? Is it painful? Do they give you knee pads? Like, how do you film something like that?
You know, it's actually amazing what a great crew can do and how they make it look so real. You know, you've got like padding on the floor, or you have a stunt woman who does it for you, or a stunt man who does that for you. It's really cool. And movie magic is serious. You can make almost anything look really real nowadays. But I would say, it takes a lot of like, you practice, you rehearse, you go over it with your scene partner, and in the moment sometimes things can happen like out of the ordinary, and you want it to be like truthful so that it can look real and that nobody gets hurt, but sometimes you can do really crazy stuff in film and TV, and it's just all super fun.
It was enjoyable from the end. I love anything that makes me think when I think it's going to be a regular horror film, and it's not. And it had this extra layer upon it. So if you had to describe the film in 3 words, what 3 words would you use to describe There's Someone in Your House?
Chilling, electrifying, sexy.
You know what? Yeah, it is. I didn't even ask you about that, but I'm going to leave that to the audience because it was kind of hot. I said, okay, Sydney, this is kind of a hot, smart horror film. And I love all of those things. Well, I thank you for your time, ma'am. This was a fun movie to watch. It was fun for me to talk to all of you. Great cast, great crew, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, JEANDRA. Appreciate you.
Take care.
You too.
Thank you for your time, gentlemen. I really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed the film and the cabin, speaking to your wonderful cast before all of you. Great. And what I appreciated about this, it was smart. Like, we had all the bells and whistles that make a horror movie interesting, but it had a different level of kind of intelligence to it that made it a more interesting story. Henry, beginning with you, why does harboring a secret kind of add a different layer of fear compared to other horror movies? Because a knife wielding guy is scary enough. Right. But then you add these secrets and it's like, ooh.
I mean, so to me, that's what unlocked the whole thing. Like, so just in adapting Stephanie's great book, that's one thing I was able to add and put into her story. Why I think it works for me is that, like, you have a normal slasher movie and you're running in the woods, or you're running in your house because there's someone with a knife, and that's scary and that's visceral fear. But if you add this, now someone's going to kill you, and the moment they kill you, your worst secret about yourself, the thing you don't want anyone to know, gets out in the world, and that's what people remember you by. And not only that, the slasher's wearing your face, looking at you, so you're staring at yourself as you die. So that element to me unlocked why I thought this should be made, and like why I should write it and why I got excited. So from the moment the producer Dan Cohen and I sort of figured that out, I was in. So because I think it's scarier because it adds an emotional level to what's already visceral fear.
Absolutely. I mean, I compared it, it was almost like you have an earthquake. A regular film is like an earthquake. You don't know when it's going to come. You just know it's going to come and it's going to be devastating. But this is like a hurricane. You got to watch the fear. If you're going to kill me, just kill me. But don't tell me about myself too. I don't need all that. Just go on and kill me.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, just go on and kill me. I don't need to know about myself. Patrick, I love slow motions. I love the pan, like, you're going to wait for this fear. And there are some beautiful shots, like, for example, with Asjha and the reflective mirror. And that's all I'll say because we don't want to spoil what's going on in that scene. What is the key to the proper slow-mo to really invoke that fear? Because not everyone does it well. And in this case, any type of slow-mo, I was like, oh God, it's about to go down.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think using slowness or stillness or silence or these moments where you're drawing things out, I think, like, there are a couple moments where we use that in the movie. I mean, the one scene where we actually use slow motion is, comes later in the movie, in the hallway scene at the school, where there's a stabbing that happened. And I was really excited about that because that was the first time I'd ever really been able to use that tool, that cinematic tool, and to, do it in a way where it came late in the movie. It felt like an escalation when it came to the kills. Like, this is a movie where we've seen like a few characters die at this point. And so, I think in looking at each of the kills, we were trying to differentiate them and make them feel like their own thing, and obviously tailor it to each character. And I think the moment that you're talking about, without giving too much away, I think it's the first time in the movie. I mean, the first time that our main character, Makani, is seeing the killer face to face in a way that she's, not necessarily being attacked, which is, someone else is being attacked. And so I think, like, it added an extra layer of like emotional weight to it. And, it was one of those moments that, I crafted based on the script months before we actually shot the movie, shot all the pieces of it in the hopes that it would work and in the hopes that it would make sense. And then it was such a joy to see it like come together in the way that it did.
And all credit due, I did that shot with the reflection was not in the script. That was, you guys came up with that. And I remember seeing it and being, well, that's the trailer, right? Like, yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. I love that shot because it was so unexpected. We're just looking at this character in this scene and then something else is happening. It's like, oh, you almost want to do that to see what's going on out there. This is a great horror film. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. This was super fun for me.
Thank you, Andrew. It was nice to meet you. Thanks for the nice words.
Thank you. What's up, you guys? I love horror, and I'm happy to see all of you. Thank you for all that you brought to this film. Asjha, beginning with you, I love how Alex is straightforward. The friend group knows what they're going to get when she comes around because she's unwavering. What do you think that she adds in addition to those qualities to the group, because she's very central to their friendship?
She's very straightforward and she's very honest and she's very accepting. And I think that's what I feel like she's the glue that brings everyone in our little outcast friendship together. And I really love that about her. But I also think for the audience, she's very relatable because I feel like she's the character that, you know, when you're watching a scary movie and the audience is like, that's the killer. Like, we all know it. Like, you know, I feel like the audience can relate to her because she's saying that in the movie. She's like, that's the killer. Like, we all know it. What's going on? Like, arrest him. And so I think that's pretty cool.
Diego, for you, Rodrigo, adorable. I love your curly hair. I'm partial to curly hair. And I just was so like, no, please, Diego, be safe out there. It's dangerous in these streets.
Yeah.
How do you think he managed to hide his secret? Everyone has secrets. How do you think he managed to hide his secret for so long?
Ooh, well, I think he was able to, luckily the pill bottle is very small, so he was able to keep it in his pocket tightly. Yeah, I think he was very discreet about it. Luckily, it wasn't his; it was his mom's and everything. So when he'd get back, he'd be able to hide it in the cabinet. I mean, I'm sure he had his ways to keep it hidden and everything. So yeah.
Jesse, Darby just wants to be smart and eat donuts and just lead a happy existence. What does Darby bring to the group?
That's a good question. I feel like Darby just genuinely wants happiness for all of his friends, you know, and I think he came out at a young age, and like things that he thought were his secrets weren't secrets. They were his authenticity. They were who he was. So by like coming forward and being true about himself, he like wants that for his friends, you know? So he just like tries to make this school more of an inclusive place and gets like angry over and over again by football players and by people quoting Princess Diana about oppression and stuff. He's frustrated, but he's working hard to make sure that his friends are in an open place.
Mm-hmm. And Dale, what I enjoy particularly about this film is I feel like young people now are far more inclusive than the previous generation, and then truly getting to know people. And that's kind of obvious. In the midst of all the chaos, there seems to be a real inclusivity, nothing too really mean-spirited. When you think about your character, what does he add to the friend group? Or what does he add to all of this that's going on?
I mean, I think cynicism is a word, but his ability to be cynical of every situation and see a lot of the bullshit and call out a lot of the bullshit was really helpful, I think. And like you said, inclusiveness was so important in this movie. And I think we did a good job. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I think he was, oh, it's so hard. It's so hard because he's so Zach, which is hard to explain. Zach is just Zach. He's just one of those guys that I feel like every friend group has, and we all can relate. And I'm sure everyone will have a friend like all of our characters.
Okay. A quick show of hands for everybody. Before you got all the way, once you were cast and you got to see the script in its entirety, show of hands, who thought they were going to die first in the movie?
Y'all.
I didn't want to say it. Asjha, really, you thought in 2021 you was gonna get off first?
Yes. I was surprised that I was even cast, honestly. When I saw that, like, Sydney, the lead, a person of color, normally that's how it goes. There's only one. So I was very surprised when they allowed another person in the friend group, another lead character, to be also a person of color. So yeah, I definitely thought I was going to be one of the first people to die. So I was happy that, can't say much, but I was just happy that our film wasn't just stereotypical. That's all I'll say.
I'm glad too. And I enjoyed all of you. Thank you so much for your time. This was a cool movie. It gave something different from the usual formula, and I loved all of your performances in it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Giandra.
Thank you, Giandra. You're amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. So are you. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Take care.
Aw.
Excellent.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.